Men think about sex every 7 seconds, which adds up to about 500 times an hour or 7,000 times per day. My bad, I was just thinking about it again. Now, this exact number can be debated, but the fact is that it's something that is very presently on our minds throughout the day. And if you think about it, this has been one of our strongest evolutionary forces because it drives men to compete harder to try and achieve more so we can attract the best mates. Mates as in women, not as in, hey mate. But in 2023, the game has changed. We're now in the age of the hub, OnlyFans, Instagram thoughts. And if you don't learn how to control your sexual thoughts and desires as a man, you're Now, I have to apologize in advance because something that's going to get everybody turned on right now is the new Edge collection that just went live. That means you can finally pick up our new active chinos. The biggest style mistake most guys make is not having a more sophisticated pants in their wardrobe, and this is it. The fit on these is perfect and not too baggy, not too tight, and this fabric is just insanely comfortable. Our brand new basic tee is also available. Most basic t-shirts suck. The fit is awkward, they're not that comfortable, but this one's a game changer. It's built from our new smooth cotton fabric, soft to the touch and loaded with stretch for all-day comfort. And not only does this tee look clean by itself, but it is the perfect shirt to layer underneath a bomber jacket or a blazer. Also, the logo tee finally dropped. This has the perfect oversized fit. It's built from our new smooth cotton fabric, and it just has a clean block logo on the front. And we also restocked our tech joggers. These are the perfect everyday pants, clean look. They have those functional side pockets, the Velcro ankle straps so you can show off just the perfect amount of ankle. All of that is live now at edgelifestyle.com, and because you're watching my video, I'm gonna hook you up with the discount code to get you 10% off your entire order. Just click that first link down in the description to shop now, and don't delay because, as always, the new stuff tends to sell out pretty quick. Part 1. Emasculation. There was a study done on men who watch a lot of pornography, and what they found was shocking. They found that the striatum, which is a part of your brain that makes up the reward system, was significantly smaller in these men. And on one hand, this explains why it's normal to have to watch more and more graphic material to continue to get aroused, and that usually leads to more perversions and kinks that are just not likely to ever be experienced in the real world, which kind of ties you to getting this arousal and the satisfaction only from a screen, which essentially emasculates you as a man. Because think about it, this removes that evolutionary force we talked about at the beginning of this video. You're no longer going to have this deep drive to do more and achieve more to try and get a good mate because you're just getting that arousal from the screen. But the even more dangerous thing is that this is going to remove satisfaction from every area of your life because the striatum has been shrunken. You now don't experience as much satisfaction when you get something that should feel rewarding. Going to the gym, grinding, seeing your body change, that's not going to be as rewarding. Pushing yourself to level up in your career, to build your own business, not going to be as rewarding. There's not as much reason to do it. Everything in your life, from traveling, making new friends, experiencing new things, is going to feel a bit less meaningful. And that's a scary thing to think about because it means life's going to be less enjoyable, or even more likely than that, because things are less enjoyable, you're not going to have the same motivation to do them, and you're going to live a very complacent, sad life. Part 2, loneliness. So in 2010, a different study was done that found that men who watch pornography are more likely to be dissatisfied in their sex lives. And this is something I can relate to on a personal level because I did used to struggle with watching too much porn. And at that time, when I would go on a date and then end up in the bedroom with a girl, it was less satisfying. A lot of times I experienced ED because it wasn't living up to the same hype of the things I was watching, or because I was so stuck up in my head. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. This shit's real. And that leads to a very simple question. What is more important to you? Watching pornography or having the experience of intimacy with a real life woman? Do you prefer to watch other people live life, or do you want to live your own life? I mean, I think it's a very simple answer. Obviously, this is a lot easier said than done. We're going to talk about an actual game plan a bit later, but this proves that our motivation to seek out real partners is removed because of this addiction. And that's going to affect a lot more than just our dating lives because, again, our motivation to achieve things in life a lot of times is to attract a potential partner, whether we want to admit that or not. And then there's a 2016 study that showed that those who regularly watch pornography are more likely to get a divorce. And that leads to another simple question. What's more important to you, bro? Looking at these images and videos on a screen, or actually having a very fulfilling relationship with a real woman? Do you genuinely prefer that quick dopamine hit you get that you kind of feel ashamed about and you do it in privacy? Or do you want to give yourself the best chance to build a family of your own? Or if you don't want kids, to build an awesome relationship with a cool girl? But one way to think about it is that watching this could lead to my kids having a shitty life because I get divorced because I'm not satisfied with my wife. Part 3, the pedestal. So a different angle that must be considered here is when we begin to worship this act of pleasure, it's going to fundamentally change how we interact with women. And look, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves regardless, because if we're able to attract a ideal partner, that's going to make us feel good about ourselves. It's going to make us feel like we've proven ourselves to our friends and family members. And that's why dating and facing the fear of rejection can be extremely intimidating and paralyzing. And then if on top of that you also add a porn addiction to the mix, this gets even further intensified. It's like, I'm already nervous to talk to her, but now I really don't want to screw this up because then I might not even get to bring her back to my bedroom. And like, I just need that to happen. I need it, man. And what's that going to lead to? It's going to lead to simping behavior. Because now when you're talking to a girl, you really don't want to say the wrong thing, because not only is she rejecting you and that feels bad, but now there's no chance it's going to get to the bedroom, and that's going to cause you to walk on eggshells around women, to never say something that might upset them. And now if a girl flakes on you, you're just going to let it go, and you're going to try and hang out with her again and again and again, no matter how much she disrespects you, because maybe there's this chance that she's going to show up on the date and then it's going to go back to the bedroom, and it'll be so good. Part 4, truth. So at this point, we've established that not regularly watching these types of videos, that's going to be an objectively positive thing for your life. It's going to increase your happiness, your motivation, probably how much you achieve in life. It's going to prevent you from chasing women who don't respect you. You're going to be a lot more grounded when you're speaking to females, but it's not that easy, right? How do we actually do this? And that leads me to part 5, the master plan. So luckily for us, the world of psychology and therapy has already developed pretty clear guidelines about how to break addictions, and we just need to be able to now take that knowledge, take that science, and apply it to breaking this addiction. The first part is just to understand and be aware of your triggers. The triggers are the things that happen before you actually crack out the laptop or the phone, go into that secret place and bring your supplies with you so you're ready to go. So you need to think about your life and think about what these triggers are. Probably one of the big ones is just scrolling through Instagram, because there's a lot of provocative photos of women, and obviously that's going to get your mind thinking about, ooh, I could get over this urge real quick if I just go do a little something. But it could also be just seeing like hot girls at the gym that you go to. Or another one that maybe you haven't considered is when you're having feelings of loneliness or sadness or grief, or you're seeing someone else who's really happy or has a really hot girlfriend. Those things can also lead us down that path, right? Because we start to think, man, I just wish I had a cool girl that I could hang out with and hook up with. And I mean, I don't have a cool girl maybe, but I got my hand. Now, once you know your triggers, here's a 3-step plan you got to follow and implement. Step 1, recognize the trigger as it's happening. As you have that phone out and you scrolling and you have that first thought, just recognize it for a second. Be mindful. I really feel like jerking off right now. Step 2, reassure yourself that you do not have to give in to the craving. This is some simple mental talk. Look, I have control over what I do next. I really want to do this, but I don't have to do it. There's nothing that's going to force me to do this. And usually we don't do that, right? Maybe we recognize the trigger, but we don't have that internal dialogue that gives us power. And that's crucial, because that's what sets us up for step 3, which is to remove yourself from the situation. So what that means is putting yourself in an environment where it's not going to make sense to jerk off, basically. It can be as simple as leaving the house and going for a walk, or going for a run, or just getting in your car, drinking the pre-workout, going to the gym. Maybe it's late in the day, you're not going to go for the gym, you can still go for a walk, or maybe you hop in a cold shower. I fucking love cold showers. Now, all of this is easy to understand, but the hard part is putting it into practice when you're alone and you're in an environment where you have the free time and you can just flip on the hub. So what's worked for me is also reminding myself in those times that this is a fucking test, right? This is like a test of my manhood. Throughout our life, there's going to be challenging things that we have to put ourselves through with women, in our career, with our physical body. But this is another way to exert, mental self-control and discipline. And when I remind myself of the significance of this, it's not just like, oh, I'll do it today and I'm not going to do it tomorrow. It's like, no, I'm going to make this into something bigger in my mind. This is a fucking test of who I am, bro. And for me, that reminder has been very powerful, because it's very serious for me that I'm working to level up my life and become the best version of, strongest version of myself. And when I put this addiction or this habit into this context, it makes it not easier, but it makes me know what the right thing to do is and actually be able to stick to that and have the discipline in that moment. Now, that being said, if you're serious about taking your life to the next level, I recommend you watch this video next. It is about 6 skills that every man needs to have in life. I can guarantee you that you have not mastered at least 2 or 3 of these things, so click there to watch that video next. And if you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe because I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.